Welcome to Skilled Garage. In today's video, we're going to begin building this 124 Nissan Skyline GTR R32. First, we need to get all the parts ready, starting with the hood, spoiler, mirrors, and the body itself. After test fitting the hood, you can see there's a little ridge between the hood and the fender, so I decided to go ahead and take it off and resand it. The next step in getting this body ready for paint is to remove the mold lines. To do this, I take a Sharpie and mark over the mold lines, which indicates where they are. Then I take 400 grit sandpaper and sand it down until the black is essentially gone, which means that the mold line is gone. Next up, before we can paint the body, the panel lines need to be deepened, and to do this, I'm using the back of an X-Acto blade. I carefully scribe the panel line until it's somewhat deep, just so paint doesn't fill it up whenever it comes time to paint. During this panel scribing process, I accidentally scribed too deep around the window trim and cut off this piece right here. Fortunately, using some putty, I repaired it. With panel scribing out of the way, I can move over to throwing the wing onto the trunk, and to do this, I'm just using some super glue. The last step before we can paint the body is to remove some of the inner fender material just so we can achieve a more aggressive fitment. To do this, I take a Dremel tool and carefully sand around the edge, carefully doing this to make sure I don't actually sand down the outer fender. To lay a bright base coat onto the body, I'm using Tamiya gloss aluminum. I'm spraying this base coat on the body as a substitution to primer, and I'm using it as a lighter reflective color than the harsh dark gunmetal. During this first base coat, I quickly realized that there were a few holes along the window trim, so I decided that I needed to go ahead and fill those in. With the base coat on the body, I'm able to see that there are a few spots that I accidentally skipped over before paint, a lot of scratches that need to be smoothed down a little bit more, and even more holes along the window trim. To fill these in, I'm using some Bondo. It's very simple. You take the Bondo putty, mix it with some hardener, mix it up, and then apply it to the body. After applying the Bondo to the body, I take an X-Acto knife and carefully carve through the panel line just to make sure it doesn't accidentally get erased. Then I take some 1500 grit sandpaper and sand it down smooth. I also took the liberty to go ahead and sand down the entire body just to get rid of some of those scratches that were still visible. Jumping back into painting, I hit the body with another coat of the gloss aluminum just to give it that base coat. To paint the body, I'm using Tamiya LP46, pure metallic red. With the base coat out of the way, I can move over to applying the actual coat onto the body, and I laid 3 coats onto it. Moving over to the second coat on the body, I'm going for full coverage on this one and making sure that there are no silver spots that can be visible. Moving over to the third and final coat, I make sure that the body is fully covered. There are no spots that are either lighter or darker than the rest, and that wraps up painting this body. Thanks for watching. Deuces.